Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for some of you all. I am coming on here. First of all, I am Dr. Bianca Miss B. Lee. Some of y'all are probably like, who and what? And girl, it's early. Yes, it is. For some of us, it is. Okay. I'm sitting here. I'm at my desk, and I had a moment. I typically have kind of late breakfasts and stuff like that. So I made me some nice creamy grits, y'all. They are so delicious. I had some hard-boiled eggs. I made a pound cake last night just because I had a taste for it. If you all know, I have a baking business, a confection business. So sometimes I like to, dabble, and I love being in the kitchen. When I tell you I love being in the kitchen, I love being in the kitchen. And my hips show for it. Hello, somebody. But in any case, I love my hips. All right. But I made a pound cake last night, and it's a banana pound cake, banana cream, actually, pound cake from scratch. Hello, somebody. All right. And I did a homemade icing, which is a pineapple strawberry icing. And then I topped it with some shaved coconut and some toffee bits. And when I tell you, I was going for the banana split vibe, okay? That's what I was going for. And it did not disappoint. Okay. Okay. So I have my cup of black coffee here. Usually I'll load it down with the sugar and the cream and stuff. But because I have that sweet pound cake slice, I went with a black this morning. Okay. Just to kind of offset it. But I'm sitting here and I'm enjoying my late breakfast. And I'm thinking, right? You all know I am a therapist. I'm a licensed therapist. I am a certified, 5-time certified life and purpose coach, intimacy coach, spiritual mentor. Let's see, business coach. I'm certified in a lot of different arenas. Okay, all pertaining to the whole and the whole fulfillment of one's life. Right. Okay. Excuse me. And I have clients. I'm blessed and grateful to have clients both here in the States and abroad, right? And I'm quite sure that I speak for all professions who are inside of this arena, whether you're a coach, mentor, whether you're a therapist, psychiatrist, whatever the case. I know I speak for a few of us when I say this, that a lot of, not a lot, but a few of our clients, maybe, a handful of our clients tend to think that therapy or mental care or emotional care and healing and all of those things is optional. Okay. Some people tend to think that it is a luxury, so to speak. When I tell you, I am here to say to you, it is not. It is not. You all, your life, your well-being, your betterment, your healing, your alignment with your purpose, your better version of yourself, all of those things, that is not optional. There is nothing optional about you. I need you to know that. Okay. And also know this: there is not a person on the face of this earth that was not born into trauma or experience and or experience trauma in their life. Not a single person. So when I say that your well-being, your mental state, your emotional state, your sexual state, your physical state, your spiritual state is not an option. It's not an option. We are so busy going about our day-to-day lives that we just, la 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 la, it's like we put ourselves on the back burner. And it shows. And it shows. You know how it shows? It shows in the outbursts that you do when you're frustrated. It shows in the breakdown that you have when you're by yourself. It shows in the treatment that you give to your children when you're angry. It shows in the treatment that you give to your spouse when you're angry. It shows when you have to deal with hardships, deaths, all of that, financial hardships. It shows in your work and lack of productivity. It shows in your lack of rest and sleep deprivation. It shows in your appetite, eating too little or eating too much or not at all. It shows in everything. It shows in your physical state, in your hair. Coming from the cosmetology arena 25 years, I can instantly look at someone's hair and see where it's breaking and see exactly what was the cause without even touching your scalp. Because if you're losing hair at the very crown of your head, that right there is not alopecia. That right there is a stress area. And the only way to eradicate or to reverse the hair breakage, shedding, thinning, or loss is to, number one, treat it, of course, with product and from within, but also it's to remove the stressor in your life. Otherwise, you can product your hair down. And if you still got that stressor in your life, you will return back to that stress state and you will see the outward results of it. Why do we think that our care is optional? We should be budgeting our care, our well-being, our treatments and sessions and all of that counseling. We should be budgeting that like we budget girls' night, like we budget family vacation, like we budget, our groceries, like we budget our mortgages and our rent, our bills. We should really be investing in self and in self-care and in our livelihood and in our betterment, like we budget for life insurance, health insurance, car insurance. Hopefully you have all of those insurances. Hopefully. All right. Why do you make yourself optional? Why do you do that to yourself? And I'm going to say this. Now, I came up in the church, okay, as most of us did. We came up in some form of religion, some form of collective, okay, spiritual collective. And one of the misconceptions, and I dare to say this, one of the misconceptions that is very harmful, I believe, is that people are taught that, you can pray it away. I am here to tell you, you cannot. Okay. Don't get me wrong. Before y'all start throwing holy oil my way. All right. Prayer works. Yes. Prayers, petitions, confessions, affirmations, they work. But they only work, hear me, they only work when you align your actions to what you petitioned and what you prayed for. Even in the Bible, it says faith without works is dead, being left all by itself. So you can pray all day, but what are your actions? And do your actions align with what you're praying for? That's the question. Okay. And oftentimes from the pulpit, it's being supported to pray or to lay hands on or just go to the altar and all will be well, all will be fixed. That is not the case, because if you had the wherewithal to do it yourself, it would be done and you wouldn't need prayer. Hello, somebody. You would know what to do for yourself. Shout out to the churches that are advocates for therapy in addition to prayer. Shout out to those. I know two churches right now that both in Chicago. One is led by my uncle, Apostle Daryl O'Neill, and one is led by one who I used to, he and his wife, who I used to sing with years ago. If those who don't know, I am a former recording artist, so I used to sing with them for years since we were, singing with them since I was a teenager. But that's Pastors Reggie and London Royal, Lifeline Church. Those are the only two, honestly, and I'm quite sure that there's many, many others, but those are the only two churches that I know right now that are advocates for both prayer and therapy. Okay? Because yes, your internal self, your spiritual self, your mental, all of that stuff has to come into agreement with the change that you desire to make or that you need to make. All right. Your inner selves have to. It starts within and then without, like as above, so below, as within, so without. It's an inside job first and foremost. First and foremost. And so if you don't have that settled in your mind and in your heart and in your spirit and in your emotional space, that this is something that needs to be done, then naturally your actions will not follow. Because in your mind, you will rationalize the fact that, oh no, I don't need this. What is the tales? Listen, our people, I love my people. I love my African American Black folk. But we are the main ones, first ones to say, Black people don't do therapy. That's white folk stuff. And that is the reason why we perpetuate the same generational traumas, generation after generation. Because we have justified this lie. We have perpetuated this foolishness generation after generation. Oh, Black folks don't do that. Black folks don't do therapy. We go to church. Right. That's why every week y'all go to church dressed to the nines and leave out that church the same way you came in there. Still hurting, still broken, still sad with no solution. Pastor taught a good word though. What did he talk about? I don't listen. Yeah, all I know, it was good. Okay. You can't repeat not nan scripture. None. But it was good. You done shot it, sweated, spit, snotted everywhere. Fell out, wig fell off, replaced it, fell off again. You done collapsed, got up. You done been covered, doused in the oil, dipped in the water, all that. And still leaving out the same way you went in there. Okay? Because you are accustomed to appearing to be fixed, but it didn't resonate and it hasn't aligned with your internal self, your actual self. You haven't made a quality decision that this gotta be done. I gotta do this. I gotta fix myself. I gotta heal. I gotta change. I gotta recover. I got to. And your actions, again, have to align with what your desires are. So many of us. There's a book, I forget who it's written by, but it's entitled Eat the Elephant How to Eat the Elephant one spoonful at a time. Okay. Some of us, we know that there's a lot of work that needs to be done internally. We know it is. Y'all. But it's so much sometimes that we have convinced ourselves that it's just too much and this is just what it is, and maybe this is just how I'm supposed to be and all of that stuff. That is not true. It's not true. It's what we've justified and convinced ourselves because we're afraid of the work, you all. We're afraid of the work because the work requires confrontation. The work requires reflecting. literally looking in a mirror. The work requires going within. The work requires remembering. The work requires feeling. The work requires acknowledging. And those are some things that we are just afraid to do. We don't want to ruffle feathers because, my mama, my daddy, they might have been the ones that caused me trauma, whatever the case. But I don't want to make them angry. So I'm just going to sit with this, because another one of the lies that we've told ourselves, especially in the Black community, is what happens in the house stays in the house. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What happens in the house stays in the house. What happens in your internal self stays in your internal self. What happens in your mental space stays in your mental space. What happens in your heart stays in your heart. What happens in your spirit stays in your spirit. What happens sexually stays in your sexuality until you call it out. And some of us are so afraid to do that because we don't know what the outcome is going to be. Forget the fact that an outcome could be healing. That's the only outcome that you need to be concerned about. Your healing, your betterment. That's the only outcome that you need to be concerned about. And shame on anybody who makes you feel like it's wrong for you to, let me retract that. Shame off of people. But it is very wrong for anyone to make you feel guilty or gaslight you into thinking that it's wrong for you to acknowledge the wrong that's been done to you. Even if it's them, even if it's yourself. Your job is to heal. You are the governor of yourself. And the fact that you think that it's optional for you to do so is problematic in and of itself. Again, you investing in your wholeness is just as important as you paying your bills on time. It's just as important as you paying your mortgage. It's just as important as you paying your insurance. You investing in your wholeness. Because I don't know about you all, but enough becomes enough after a while. And you get tired of fighting. You get tired of crying. You get tired of being sad. You get tired of smiling, and behind that smile is pretense. You get tired of posting online one thing, but your life actually being something else. You're sad, lonely, broken, rejected, abandoned, can't find joy. There was a young lady I saw online earlier today, and she says, for some reason, for the last few days, she says, for some reason, there's this cloak of sadness that's over her, and she's been trying to find joy, but she can't find it, to the point where she can't even remember what joy feels like. And that is crazy. Because why do we allow ourselves to get to this state of being when we had all the time in the world to rectify the problem, to get it taken care of? You are your number one priority. Not anything else, not anybody else. Contrary to popular belief, you are your number one priority. Because if you are not okay, how can you show up for others? How? If your mental is not okay, how can you mentally handle what other people have to bring you? Their stuff. If you're not okay emotionally, how can you even how can you be there emotionally for others? How can you be strength for others in the realm of empathy, sympathy? How? If you are not okay. If you are not okay physically, how can you be there physically for others? Why do you think you are an option? Why do you treat yourself as an option? And then we wonder why others do the same to us. We treat people how we see them treating themselves. The same for us. People treat us how they see us treating ourselves. If you were more vigilant about yourself, about your healing, about your happiness, about your joy, your peace, if you were more vigilant, a lot of things would not be able to fly with you. You wouldn't even allow yourself to do certain things to you. Why do you put yourself on the back burner? It is time for you to say yes to you, like you are quick to say yes to everybody else. It's time for you to do that. You are deserving of that. You are deserving, totally and wholly deserving of true healing, true happiness. You are totally deserving of coming away from that pain that you have suffered and endured all of your life, that childhood hurt, that childhood neglect, those childhood scars. It is time. There's no way in the world you are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 and still hurting from something that happened when you were a teenager. And we've rationalized the pain. That right there. We've rationalized the pain. We've rationalized the scars. We've justified the cruelty, the trauma, and all of those things. And we, to the point where we have merged it into our being and into our, who we are, our personality, and all of these things. You are hardcore. You have a whole block wall built up, all because of something that happened to you when you were a child. But today, oh, that's just me. Ain't nobody gonna mess with me. Well, who messed with you in the first place to make you put this wall up? What happened? What happened? Who did it? Who hurt you to make you not trust someone? Who betrayed your trust to where you can't trust today? Who did that? Who abandoned you before, that made you very clingy and fearful of abandonment today? Who did that? Who violated you sexually before to where now you are desensitized in your sexual being? Who did it? You gotta make a conscientious decision to heal. You gotta know you're worthy of healing. You gotta know you're worthy of coming from that place. You gotta know. You gotta make the decision. Invest in yourself. You are your number one priority. And you are not an option. Not ever. You never were. You are not, and you never will be optional. You are a mandate. You are a priority. Okay? Know that. Know that. That's all I have to say for today. I'm going to get back to my late breakfast. I love you all. I mean it. There's absolutely positively nothing, and I mean nothing, that you can do about it. Have a phenomenal rest of your day. Enjoy this week. Set out to be great, do great, win big, and accomplish everything that you set out to accomplish. We'll talk to you all on Sunday. We're actually beginning our new reading of The Secret Sunday. See you then.